The merchant ship Star Wanderer drifted through the quiet darkness of space, its blue-skinned crew going about their daily tasks without much excitement. The ship's scanner operator, Tell, was nearly asleep at his post when a strange signal caught his attention. He blinked his 4 eyes rapidly, making sure he wasn't seeing things. "Captain, there's something odd on the long-range scanners," Tell called out, his voice shaking slightly. "I've never seen readings like these before." Captain Mole moved quickly to the scanner station, his long robes floating in the low gravity. As he studied the readings, his normally purple face turned a pale shade of blue. The energy signature was massive, unlike anything their systems had ever recorded. The ship's computer tried to classify it, but kept showing error messages. "Send out a warning to all nearby ships," Mole ordered, his voice steady despite his fear, "and get me a direct line to the Council." Before Tell could act, the massive shape appeared out of faster-than-light travel. The Star Wanderer's crew watched in amazement as a warship larger than anything they had ever seen glided into view. Its dark hull was covered in what looked like battle scars, each one telling a story of survival. The name Thunder of Earth was written in glowing letters along its side. A human warship, the first one ever seen in this part of space. Stories about humans had spread across the galaxy for years. Tales spoke of a species that lived on a planet that tried to kill them every day, who had fought off 3 different alien invasions, and who had somehow turned their warlike past into a force for peace. Some said they were giants who could survive in vacuum for hours. Others claimed they had technology that broke the laws of physics. Aboard the Thunder of Earth, Captain Reeves stood on his bridge, looking out at the busy trading lanes of the Nexus system. He was a tall man with graying hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. His uniform was simple but neat, with only a few medals pinned to his chest, far fewer than he had earned. "Status report," Reed called out, his voice calm and measured. "Sir, we're picking up a lot of chatter," Officer Jones reported from the communication station. "Most of the local ships are changing course to maintain at least 1,000,000 kilometers of distance from us. The trading station has raised its shields, and we're getting emergency broadcasts in at least 15 different languages." Reed allowed himself a small smile. This reaction was exactly why they had chosen to send just one ship instead of a fleet. A single human warship was less threatening than a battle group, but still impressive enough to get everyone's attention. "Send out the standard greeting package," Reed ordered. "All languages, all frequencies. Let's show them we came to talk, not fight." The message went out, carrying words of peace and friendship in every known alien language. The Thunder's advanced AI had spent months learning local customs and translating everything perfectly. Even the message's color and format were designed to be as non-threatening as possible, while still showing humanity's technical skill. Back on the Star Wanderer, Captain Mole watched in amazement as the human ship made no aggressive moves. Its weapons remained powered down, though its shield hummed with energy that his sensors couldn't even begin to understand. The greeting message they received was perfectly written in his native language, showing respect and knowledge of his people's customs. "Should we run?" Tell asked, his hands hovering over the engine controls. Mole thought for a moment, then shook his head. "No, the humans could have attacked already if they wanted to. Look at how they're positioning their ship, keeping their main weapons turned away from the trading lanes. They're being careful not to frighten anyone more than necessary." As if to prove his point, the Thunder of Earth began broadcasting its intentions. They sought peaceful trade relations and diplomatic ties. Yet even in these peaceful messages, there was an underlying strength that couldn't be ignored. This was a warship that had survived battles, crewed by beings from a planet that had never made things easy for them. The universe held its breath, watching to see what would happen next. Humanity had arrived at the Nexus trading system, and nothing would ever be the same. The Great Hall of the Nexus Trading Council buzzed with nervous energy as representatives from 20 different species argued about the human warship. The council speaker, a tall being with silver scales, tried to maintain order by tapping his ceremonial staff against the floor, but few paid attention. "We must demand they leave immediately," shouted one representative, his fur standing on end. "The ancient warnings are clear. Deathworlders bring only destruction." "And who will make them leave?" asked another, her crystalline form glowing with irritation. "Have you seen the scans of their ship? Those aren't just battle scars on its hull. They're victory marks." The council speaker finally slammed his staff down hard enough to crack the floor. Silence fell immediately. "We will handle this with wisdom, not fear," he said. "The humans have shown remarkable restraint. Their ship sits perfectly still, weapons cold, while we panic like hatchlings." Aboard the Thunder of Earth, Admiral Stone watched the diplomatic requests flood in. Some were demands to leave, others were eager trade proposals, and a few were simply questions about humanity. The Admiral was an older man with dark skin and keen eyes that missed nothing. "Now this is interesting," he said, showing Captain Reed a particular message. "The Mining Guild wants to know if we'd be willing to share our hull armor technology. Apparently, our armor is better than anything they've ever seen." Reed nodded, studying the message. "Well, surviving 3 invasion attempts will teach you a thing or two about armor. Send them the basic specs of our older models. Show them we're willing to trade, but keep our best technology to ourselves for now." The bridge crew worked efficiently, handling the flood of communications while keeping watch on their surroundings. First Officer Miller noticed something odd on her tactical display. Several ships trying to hide their movements behind larger vessels. "Captain," she called out, "I think we have some unwanted attention. 3 ships, possibly pirates, trying to stay out of our sensor range. They don't know our sensors can see through their tricks." Reed studied the tactical display. The pirates were using old cloaking technology, probably thinking it would hide them from the human ship. What they didn't know was that humanity had defeated similar cloaking systems during their second alien invasion. "Keep an eye on them," Reed ordered. "But let's focus on the diplomatic situation for now. How's our first contact package being received?" Officer Jones smiled at his communications panel. "Sir, our translation AI is getting praise from several species. The rock people of Centauri Beta actually asked if we'd be willing to help them update their language database. Apparently, we're the first visitors to properly pronounce their crystal songs in over a century." Meanwhile, in a hidden base carved into a nearby asteroid, the pirate leader watched recordings of the Thunder of Earth with growing excitement. His red eyes gleamed as he studied the human ship's design. "Look at the size of it," he told his crew. "Think of the riches such a ship must carry. We'll be the first pirates to successfully raid a human vessel. Our names will be legendary." His second-in-command seemed less certain. "But sir, the stories about humans are just stories." The pirate leader snapped. "They're from a heavy-gravity world. So what? They survived invasions. That just means they have good technology for us to steal. With our whole fleet, we can overwhelm one ship." Back in the council chamber, the council speaker read the latest report from their science division. The human ship's energy readings were unlike anything they'd seen before. Its hull seemed to be made of materials their sensors couldn't even identify. And strangest of all, the humans appeared to be using an AI system far more advanced than should have been possible for such a young species. "Send them an invitation," the speaker finally decided. "A formal diplomatic meeting. It's time we learned more about these humans." As the invitation was sent, the Thunder of Earth's crew continued their work, unaware that they were being watched by pirate eyes. The next few hours would test humanity's reputation in ways no one expected. The universe continued to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen when someone finally decided to challenge the newcomers. The pirate fleet emerged from behind the asteroid belt like a swarm of angry insects. 12 ships, their weapons already hot, charged toward the Thunder of Earth. The pirate leader stood proudly on his bridge, certain that today would make him famous throughout the galaxy. "Look at them, just sitting there," he laughed. "They don't even see us coming." On the Thunder's bridge, Captain Reed sipped his coffee calmly while watching the pirates approach. "How long have they been building up their courage?" he asked. "About 3 hours, sir," Miller replied, her fingers dancing over the tactical console. "They think their cloaking technology is hiding them. Should we show them it isn't?" Reed nodded, and Miller pressed a single button. Suddenly, every pirate ship's computer system began playing a pre-recorded message. "Your cloaking technology has been detected. Please power down your weapons and retreat. This is your only warning." The pirate leader's jaw dropped. His crew looked at each other nervously. Their perfect surprise attack wasn't a surprise at all, but they had come too far to retreat now. "Fire everything," the pirate leader screamed. "All ships, attack." The space around Thunder of Earth lit up with energy weapons and missiles. The pirate fleet had enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Watching from nearby ships, aliens held their breath, certain they were about to see the human vessel destroyed. They were wrong. The Thunder's Point defense system came alive. Thousands of tiny drones swarmed out from hidden ports, each one smaller than a human hand. They moved faster than anything the pirates had ever seen, creating a living shield around the human ship. Missiles exploded harmlessly, their fragments caught and vaporized. Energy beams were reflected back into space. "Fascinating," Reed said, still sipping his coffee. "They're using krill weapons. We haven't seen those since the second invasion." "Miller, show them why those didn't work then either." The Thunder's drones suddenly changed formation. Instead of defending, they began to move in precise patterns. Each drone fired a tiny pulse of energy, too weak to damage anything. But there were thousands of drones, and their pulses combined in space, creating interference patterns that the pirates had never seen before. One by one, the pirate ships lost power. Their engines died, their weapons went cold, and their artificial gravity failed. The entire attacking fleet was disabled without the Thunder firing a single shot. "All enemy ships disabled, sir," Miller reported. "No casualties. Their life support systems are still running on backup power." Reed nodded. "Send in the boarding drones. Let's show them what human engineering can do." Small maintenance drones flew to each pirate ship. Instead of attacking, they began repairing the damage their own interference had caused. Within minutes, each pirate vessel had enough power to maintain life support and basic communications, but nothing else. The pirate leader floated in his powerless bridge, watching in horror as the human drones easily breached his best security systems. His crew had surrendered the moment they lost power, and now they watched in amazement as the human ship sent them a repair bill. "You attempted to attack a peaceful vessel," the message read. "The standard fine for piracy will be charged to your accounts. Your ships have been temporarily disabled. Local authorities have been notified. Have a nice day." From the council chamber, the alien representatives watched the entire battle in stunned silence. The human ship had just defeated a pirate fleet that had terrorized their trading lanes for months, and they had done it without killing anyone. "By the ancient stars," the council speaker whispered, "the stories were wrong. They're not just warriors. There's something far more interesting." Back on the Thunder, Reed finally finished his coffee. "Send a message to the council," he told Jones. "Tell them we'd be happy to share our anti-piracy techniques as part of any trade agreement. After all, keeping the trade lanes safe benefits everyone." As local security ships moved in to arrest the pirates, the legend of the Thunder of Earth grew. The pirates had expected a mighty battle against a fearsome warrior race. Instead, they had been defeated by careful planning, advanced technology, and the kind of confidence that came from knowing exactly how powerful you were and choosing not to abuse that power. The universe was beginning to understand that humans were full of surprises. Officer Jones frowned at his sensor readings aboard the Thunder of Earth. Something wasn't right. While the pirate ships were being towed away by local security forces, the ship's advanced sensors had detected an odd energy spike deep within the system's asteroid field. "Captain," he called out, "you might want to see this." Reed moved to the sensor station, his expression turning serious as he studied the readings. The energy signature was unlike anything they'd seen in this sector, but it reminded him of something from Earth's past. "This looks like a builder signal," Reed said quietly. Several crew members stopped what they were doing and turned to look. Everyone knew about the builders, the mysterious ancient race that had vanished thousands of years ago, leaving behind technology that most species couldn't even understand. In the council chamber, alarms suddenly began blaring. The council speaker's silver scales turned pale as his own sensors detected what the humans had already found. "No," he whispered. "The legends were true. The ancient defense system, it's awakening." Deep within the asteroid field, something massive stirred to life. A hidden installation, bigger than a small moon, began powering up systems that had slept for millennia. Its ancient AI had detected something it had been programmed to watch for: a Deathworld species entering the system. Reed watched as more sensor data poured in. "Get me the council," he ordered. "They must know something about this." The council speaker's face appeared on the main screen, fear evident in his eyes. "Captain Reed," he said, "you must leave this system immediately. Our ancestors were warned never to allow Deathworlders here. The builders left behind a defense system, a weapon meant to protect this sector from species like yours." As if to emphasize his words, massive energy beams shot out from the asteroid field, barely missing several merchant ships. The ancient weapon was warming up, its targeting systems beginning to track every vessel in the system. "Evacuation orders are being given," the council speaker continued. "We cannot fight this weapon. The builder's technology is too advanced. Please, you must." "How many people are still in the system?" Reed interrupted. The speaker blinked in surprise. "What? How many people are still here? How long will a full evacuation take?" "There are over 3 million beings in this system," the speaker replied. "A full evacuation would take at least 2 days, but the weapon will be fully active in less than 6 hours." Reed turned to his crew. "Miller, what do our scans tell us about that installation?" Miller worked her console quickly. "It's massive stir, but there's something familiar about its energy signature. The patterns, they're similar to what we faced during the AI wars back home." A small smile crossed Reed's face. The AI wars had nearly destroyed Earth 50 years ago, when humanity's first attempts at artificial intelligence had turned against them. They had learned hard lessons from that war, lessons that no other species in known space had ever needed to learn. "Send a message to the council," Reed ordered. "Tell them we're not running. The thunder of Earth will handle this threat." The council chamber erupted in chaos at this news. The human ship was going to fight a builder weapon. It was suicide. But as they watched, the thunder of Earth began moving steadily toward the asteroid field, its engines glowing with power that their sensors couldn't understand. "Are they insane?" one council member asked. The council speaker watched the human ships approach, remembering how they had handled the pirates. "No," he said slowly. "They're not insane. They're seeing something we're missing. They recognize this threat in a way we don't." Aboard the Thunder, Reed addressed his crew. "The builders were advanced, yes, but they vanished long ago, and their AI is ancient. We've faced Rouge AI before. We've beaten it before, and we're going to do it again." As the massive builder weapon began charging its main gun, the thunder of Earth accelerated toward it. The human ship looked tiny against the ancient installation, like a mouse challenging a lion. But anyone watching closely might have noticed something important. The mouse wasn't afraid. The builder weapon fired its main gun, sending a beam of energy bright enough to rival a small sun toward the thunder of Earth. The human ship rolled to the side with impossible speed, the beam missing by meters. Watching alien ships saw the edge of the thunder's shield flare brilliant blue where the energy had grazed it. "Shield status?" Reed asked calmly. "Shields holding at 92%, sir," Miller reported. "That blast would have cut through any normal shield, but our quantum barriers are adapting to their energy pattern." The ancient weapon seemed confused by its failure to destroy the target. Its next shots came faster but less accurately, as if it were angry. The thunder weaved through the barrage like a dancer, each movement precise and planned. "The evacuation isn't moving fast enough," Admiral Stone said, watching the system traffic. "That thing's starting to target civilian ships now. We need to draw its full attention." Reed nodded. "Engineering, give me everything you can to the forward shields. Miller, target their secondary weapon ports. Let's make it mad." The thunder suddenly changed direction, charging straight at the massive installation. Its point defense drones spread out in a new pattern, forming a massive holographic image in space. A human smile, bright enough to be seen from anywhere in the system. The builder weapon responded exactly as Reed had hoped. It focused all its attention on the thunder, forgetting about the civilian ships. Energy beams and plasma bolts filled space, but none could land a solid hit on the human vessel. "Sir," Jones called out, "I'm getting deeper readings on their systems. The AI, it's old, really old, and it's running on quantum crystals, just like the ones we fought in the AI wars." Reed's eyes lit up. "Can we use the same trick?" "Already on it, sir," Miller replied. Her fingers flew across her console as she reprogrammed the point defense drones. "Remember how Earth's AIs had that fatal flaw in their quantum processing? Let's see if builder AIs have the same weakness." The drones suddenly changed their formation again. Instead of defending or attacking, they began generating a complex pattern of quantum interference. The builder weapon's shots began to go wild, its targeting systems confused by signals that shouldn't have existed. "It's working," Jones shouted. "Their systems are trying to compensate, but they can't handle the quantum noise. Just like our old AIs, they never expected anyone to use quantum uncertainty against them." But the ancient weapon wasn't finished. As its main weapons failed, it began launching swarms of its own defensive drones. Thousands of ancient combat machines, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a small ship, headed straight for the thunder. "Now that's just unfair," Miller muttered. "They have more drones than we do." "But ours are smarter," Reed replied. "Release the learning protocols. Let our drones fight at full capacity." The Thunder's drones suddenly moved with even greater speed and coordination. They had been holding back, using only pre-programmed routines. Now their combat AIs were fully active, adapting and learning in real time. The builder drones, despite their superior firepower, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. In the council chamber, the alien representatives watched in amazement. The human ship was fighting impossible odds, using technology that seemed to break the laws of physics. But most shocking was how they fought, not with brute force, but with precision and intelligence. "They're not just surviving," the council speaker realized. "They're learning. Every moment of this battle, they're figuring out how the weapon works. But why? Why aren't they trying to destroy it?" The answer came moments later. The Thunder's drones had formed a massive network around the builder installation, their quantum interference growing stronger. The ancient weapon's shots grew weaker, its movements slower, as its AI struggled to process what was happening. "Sir," Miller reported, "we've got them trapped in a quantum feedback loop. Their AI is stuck trying to calculate impossible probabilities. We can shut them down completely, but—" Reed nodded. "But we might be able to do something better. Get me a secure channel to the council. I think it's time we showed them why humans don't just destroy their enemies. Sometimes, we make them into friends." The council stared in disbelief as Captain Reed explained his plan. The human wanted to send a boarding party into the builder weapon. Not drones, not robots, but actual human beings in spacesuits. It seemed impossible, maybe even insane. "The quantum interference is keeping their eye confused," Reed explained patiently. "But we need to do more than just shut it down. This installation is too valuable to destroy. We can reprogram it, make it protect the system instead of attacking it." "You want to talk to it?" the council speaker asked, his scales shifting colors in confusion. "No," Reed smiled. We want to teach it. The thunder of Earth's launch bay opened, releasing 3 heavily armored shuttles. Each one carried a team of human space warfare troops, along with Engineer Banks and his technical crew. The shuttles moved through the chaos of battle, protected by swarms of point defense drones. Inside the lead shuttle, Banks checked his equipment one last time. His team carried specially designed computers that could interface with quantum systems. During the AI wars on Earth, he had been part of the team that learned to rehabilitate rogue AIs instead of destroying them. This is crazy, you know that, right? One of his technicians said. Banks grinned inside his helmet. Crazy is what humans do best. Besides, this isn't even the craziest thing I've done this year. The shuttles approached a section of the builder weapon that the Thunder scans had identified as a maintenance port. The ancient facility's defenses were still active, but they were sluggish and confused, trying to fight through the quantum interference. As the boarding party cut their way through the ancient hull, alien observers watched in amazement. The humans moved with practiced ease in zero gravity, using tools and techniques that spoke of long experience with space warfare. But they weren't destroying things randomly. Every cut was precise, every movement calculated. Inside the facility, Banks led his team through dark corridors that hadn't seen life in thousands of years. Their suits' sensors mapped everything, building a 3-dimensional model that was transmitted back to the Thunder. Look at this, Banks said, stopping at a junction. These markings, they're not just decorative. They're mathematical formulas. The builders didn't just make AI, they made it part of their architecture. The team reached a massive chamber filled with crystalline structures that pulsed with dim light. Banks immediately recognized it as a quantum processing center, similar to what Earth's AIs had used, but far more advanced. Beginning interface, he reported, connecting his equipment to the ancient systems. Captain, you're not going to believe this. The AA, it's not evil. It's scared. Reed's voice came through clearly despite the interference. Scared. Of what? Of us. Of humans. The builders programmed it to protect this sector from any species that evolved on a high-gravity world. They thought such species would be naturally violent, unable to handle advanced technology safely. Banks laughed. They weren't entirely wrong about us being dangerous, but they never considered we might learn to control it. Banks and his team worked quickly, using techniques developed during Earth's AI wars. They didn't try to reprogram the ancient AI directly. Instead, they showed it Earth's history. They showed it how humans had fought their own AIs, then made peace with them. How they had faced 3 alien invasions but chose to rebuild rather than seek revenge. The crystalline structures began glowing brighter, their patterns changing as the ancient AI processed this new information. The weapons attacks on the Thunder stopped completely. Sir, Miller reported from the Thunder's bridge, the quantum interference patterns are stabilizing. I think it's accepting the new programming. The builder weapon's external lights suddenly changed color, shifting from angry red to a calm blue. Its defensive drones returned to their base, and its main gun powered down. Deep inside the facility, Banks watched as new patterns formed in the crystal matrices. It's amazing, he reported. The AI isn't just accepting our changes, it's learning from them. I think it actually wants to talk to us now. The council speaker's voice came through, filled with awe. You didn't destroy it. You didn't even disable it. You taught it. That's what humans do, Reed replied simply. We learn from our mistakes, and when we can, we help others learn too, even if those others are ancient alien AIs. The Great Hall of the Nexus Trading Council had never been so crowded. Representatives from every species in the sector had gathered to witness the signing of the treaty. At the center of attention stood Captain Reed and Admiral Stone, their simple dress uniforms standing out among the elaborate robes and ceremonial armor of the alien diplomats. The builder weapon, now renamed as the Nexus Guardian, floated peacefully in space. Its sensors watched over the trading lanes, but instead of searching for threats, It helped coordinate traffic and provided emergency assistance to ships in need. The ancient AI had embraced its new role with surprising enthusiasm. "The treaty is ready," the council speaker announced. His silver scales gleamed with pride as he held up the document. "For the first time in our history, we offer full trading rights and a permanent seat on the council to a Deathworld species." Reed stepped forward to sign, but the speaker wasn't finished. "However, before we proceed, we have a request. Our people have questions. We wish to understand. How do humans do it? How do you become so powerful, yet remain so controlled?" Admiral Stone smiled. "Would you like to see?" He nodded to Officer Jones, who activated a holographic display in the center of the hall. "We brought something to share with you all. On Earth, we call them movies." The lights dimmed, and the hall filled with images from Earth's history. The aliens watched in fascination as the story unfolded. Humanity's struggles, their wars, their near destruction by their own AI creations. But more importantly, they saw how humans learned from each situation, how they grew stronger without becoming cruel. "You see," Reed explained as the presentation ended, "Earth tried to kill us every day. We had to become tough to survive. But the real challenge wasn't becoming strong. It was learning when not to use that strength." In the audience, the pirate leader who had attacked the Thunder watched with his guards. He had been brought from his cell to witness the treaty signing as part of his rehabilitation. "We thought they would be easy prey," he whispered. "But they were so far beyond us. They didn't even need to hurt us to win." Engineer Banks, standing near the council platform, was busy explaining quantum mechanics to a group of fascinated alien scientists. He had become something of a celebrity after successfully communicating with the Builder AI. "The real trick," he told them, "is understanding that advanced technology isn't about destruction. It's about finding better ways to solve problems." The council speaker raised his staff, calling for attention. "Let it be known throughout the galaxy. Humanity is not just welcomed here, they are honored. Their ship came in peace, faced our fears with patience, defeated our enemies with mercy, and turned an ancient weapon into a guardian. They have shown us a better way." As Reed signed the treaty, the Thunder's crew celebrated in their own way. They had set up a movie night in one of the council's larger chambers, inviting any alien who wanted to join them. The featured film was an old classic about first contact, and the chamber was packed with beings of all shapes and sizes, sharing Earth snacks and asking endless questions about human culture. Miller, watching from the back of the chamber, smiled as she saw alien children sitting with human crew members, learning Earth games and songs. "We came looking for trading partners," she said to Jones, "but I think we found something better." "What's that?" Jones asked. "Students, friends, people who see us as we really are, not just warriors, not just survivors, but teachers and protectors too." High above the trading station, the Nexus Guardian's lights pulsed with a peaceful blue glow. The ancient AI had learned from humanity's example, discovering that true strength lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to protect and nurture. The universe had held its breath when the human warship arrived. Now it could breathe easily, knowing that humanity had brought not conquest or destruction, but a new way of thinking. The Thunder of Earth's mission was a success, but it was only the beginning. There were more systems to visit, more friends to make, and more lessons to share. After all, that's what humans do best. They take the impossible, make it possible, and then teach others how to do the same.